This is World History Day 22. This is 22C, and this will be our last lecture today as we look at the Persian Empire. So the Persian Empire is pretty familiar to us. It is a pretty big deal throughout the last centuries of BC, before Christ, and then leading into interaction with the New Testament people as well. In the Old Testament, you have Esther ending up queen of the Persian Empire, so you can see how vast her domain is with all these different provinces. Really, they took all of ancient Mesopotamia and beyond. They went farther east, they went farther west as well. Note, too, to write down is that Cyrus had 20, what he called his provinces were satrapies, and the people in charge of them would be satraps. That would be his equivalent of governor. And you know some famous satraps like Daniel in the Old Testament. They were his right-hand men, and he relied on them, their reports, their governing, and they were known to treat conquered people kindly, and that was Cyrus's wish that they do so. That was a great decision. Writing about the Persian Empire, the Greek historian Herodotus is quoted as saying, "There is no nation which so readily adopts foreign customs. They have taken the dress of the Medes, and in war they wear the Egyptian breastplate. As soon as they hear of any luxury, they instantly make it their own." So they were really eager to learn about other civilizations and what they valued, and they would adopt the best of other civilizations into their own. And this happened when they conquered the Jewish people as well. And while the exile was tragic for the Hebrews, the blessing of it was that some of the Persians got to know about the true God, about Yahweh, through the witness of those who were captured. And a lot of them were given high positions because they were respected by the king. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were three more Hebrew men that were given high position in the Persian king's court. The third note to write down is that King Cambyses conquered Egypt, and King Darius, who you know about from the Old Testament, added Western India, but the Greeks did successfully turn back Persia. And so that kind of brings us into how mighty was the Greek Empire to be able to turn back mighty Persia. Persia had 10,000 elite soldiers, and these were called the Immortals. It's a pretty cool name. Note number 4 is that in 500 BC, Darius' empire was the largest in the world, with a massive army and the world's first highway system to unite it, the Persian Road. Persia created an imperial courier service to deliver messages, like our post office, but better. Herodotus, a Greek historian, you know, this is going to sound like the U.S. post office, but it happened first in ancient Persia. Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor darkness of night prevents them from accomplishing the task proposed to them with utmost speed. If you've ever seen a movie television series called Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, it's about the U.S. Postal Service and an elite force of them, and they kind of quote this and give out awards. Like there's an award called Dark of Night Award, things like that. Note number 5 is that Darius and other Persian kings were considered representatives of the god Ahuramazda, and this was part of Zoroastrianism, and I guess that was why they felt like they could force Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to worship them, the king. And of course, famously, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused and were threatened with death. Daniel by lions, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego by being thrown into a fire, a very, very, very hot furnace. And you know that all 4 of these men were spared by God, by the true God. And this really caused the king to take notice. You know that Darius and also Nebuchadnezzar end up taking notice of who is this God who protects you from the mouth of the lions and the fire of the flames. And so at least there were momentary times when these powerful, powerful kings were given witness by Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to the true God. And there were other examples of them witnessing as well. They wouldn't eat the king's rich food, but they grew stronger on only vegetables. Really interesting history interacting with Persia at the time of the exile. There